What is up, guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today I want to do a video about my video rig, my 2024 A7S III build, because I'm still rocking the A7S III in 2024. No shame in it. I absolutely love this camera. I love this rig. I love this build. I'm going to show you guys exactly what I put into this thing in case you guys want to check it out for yourselves. Sometimes I use it just like this, where it's just, you know, the camera body itself, but a lot of the times I have it rigged up. And I used to really like the really big rigs that made it look more like professional and like had the huge MPF batteries, or not MPF, the huge V-mount batteries and stuff on it. But I haven't really liked those type of setups for a while now. So I have downsized it into something that's a lot easier to just set up on the go and doesn't take up as much space. So that's exactly what I'm gonna be showing you guys today. So yeah, let's go ahead and get right into it. So switching to the top camera now, this is the A7S III, as you guys can see. I got this a few years ago and I've been loving it ever since. I got it used, I didn't purchase it brand new. So it did have a little bit of mileage on it when I got it, but I mean, I can't really tell the difference whatsoever. So the first thing I always do is I throw on a cage. Now this is not part of the cage. I just was lazy and didn't want to take that off. But anyways, this is the SmallRig 2999 cage. It's a little bit older because I did purchase this a while ago, but you know, with it being an A7S III, you don't really have any mounting holes anywhere on it like you do the FX30. So a case is 100% required if you are gonna do anything serious with this camera. Go ahead and just throw that on here real quick. There we go, make sure that's nice and tight. Boom, there we go. The first part of the build, just the cage itself. And then I have this little setup. Next up on the build is this, which is a little newer cage, and it's a very minimal cage. But the reason I like it is because it's so small. Like, this is the entire size of it. It has this like a little thing that you can easily take off. So let's go ahead and throw this piece onto the camera. So there we go, we got that on. And from here, we just slide this into the V-mount and then just lock that knob in the front, and now we're good. So now this is most of the way built. I usually always put on a base plate on top of it because this has like a weird side mounted plate, which kind of sucks. This is from Camvate. It's a Camvate plate, and I got it in red because I think red just looks way cooler. Tighten that, make sure everything's flush. So now I got the plate on the bottom, and it's still super teeny tiny. So the next thing I like to do is I then pull this V-mount plate back, and I pull the screen outwards, and then I put this plate back. All right, so once I have the cage basically fully built out, the only thing I need to add is the accessories that kind of vary depending on the shoot. So if I'm doing something where I'm gonna be shooting a lot longer, I obviously do end up adding a monitor, but no matter what I end up doing, I will always add this bad boy, which is just a newer V-mount. Now, the reason I go with newer instead of something like SmallRig for these type of batteries, they all do the same thing. I haven't had any issues with this one, and this one I really like because it's really small and it has all the ports you need. So I have a 12 volt DC out for my monitor or anything other accessories I need, and an 8 volt for the camera itself with my dummy battery. And then I also have a D-tap on this side, and then on the other side there's a Type A and a Type C USB port, which the USB does in, so you can actually charge this thing up with USB-C, which is honestly super convenient. I do have other V-mount batteries from newer, like these super bulky, like dummy ones. These only have D-taps and then a USB 5 volt out, which really isn't super useful. So I do have to put this on like a mount or like a smart V-mount like cage, which adds a ton of bulk. But with this, it's all in one. It has a little screen on it, so you can see I need to charge it, and it just attaches onto the system like so. And from here, I can actually just fiddle with this front part on the cage, and I kind of just line it up so that camera is as flush with the battery as possible. And that way the screen isn't getting super damaged. So far, this is what it's looking like. And now the only thing I have left to add is my monitor. So my monitor of choice kind of depends on the situation that I'm doing. So if I am just gunning by myself, I'll typically use something like this. That's if I end up using a monitor at all. I actually sometimes just run it like this with the lens, and then flip out the screen itself just like this. I've really been loving this lens lately. It's an old photo lens and it just gets a really nice looking vintage look to it. So, or vintage look to the footage, which I really like. It's not a like actual video lens, so focusing and stuff is a little bit hard, but it does look really cool. So I like it. It's a 28 to 90. And then finally, what I need to do is add a dummy battery. I use these dummy batteries from A7S III. Make sure you plug it into the 8 volt, because if you don't plug it into the 8 volt, you can actually fry your camera, which would not be very cash money. This is what the majority of the time I'm shooting this camera looks like. So let me flip it on and I can shoot it from the hip. And if I don't have an external monitor, doesn't matter, this is gonna last me the entire shoot. And because of that battery, I can probably run this the entire day. If I am using an external monitor, I have 2 external monitors to go to. It kind of depends on what the situation is. So the first monitor is if it's gonna be just me and it's gonna be run and gun, and that is gonna be the Portkeys LH7P. I'll be making an entire video on this later. They sent it to me a while ago. I haven't made a video on it yet, but I really like it because it's bright, it has a max output of 1000 nits. And another feature I really like is you can control the camera with this. So if it's just me using this setup, then I like to have this because then I can change the settings on the monitor itself instead of having to actually go on the little tiny screen down here and change them on there. So let me attach this. My favorite way of attaching it, and the way that I like to attach them, attach my monitors, is using one of these little arms. Boom, like that. So now we got this so far, looking like that. And now all I have to do is wire this up. So this is gonna take 2 wires. First wire is gonna be an HDMI cable right here. And before I plug it in, one thing I do like to do when I'm using the A7S III, because it does have a really flimsy HDMI port, purchase one of these, which is like a little, it's like a holder for the HDMI cable. So now we're not running the risk of breaking the HDMI cable because there's only one of those on there. And if it breaks, you're kind of out of luck. I have this cable, plug that in, and again, it's kind of long. I should probably get smaller ones because they do take up a ton of space. Good enough for now. All right, and then this just goes into the power cable down here. Now the monitor is on, and as you can see, it already automatically syncs up to, it already automatically connects to the camera. So when it's connected, I have the ability to change, or I can record if I don't have a memory card in right now. That's the other part. That's the final part. All right, so now we're basically done with the build. The last thing is just memory cards, and I have been using these 2 for the last however many months I've had these cards, and these are the cards from ProGrade. They sent them over to me a while ago. I have yet to make content with them, but I have been using these. These are honestly really, really good cards. It's a Type B card and then just a V90 card, and they're both from ProGrade. One's 256 gigabytes, one's 480 gigabytes. And since the A7S III does actually have the ability to use Type B, that is the one that I use the most. So throw it in there, boom, just like that. You're gonna get insane read and write speeds, unlock full potential of your camera. And then because this monitor is fully set up now, there you go, because the monitor is fully set up and it's controlling the camera, I can actually just go on here and click right here. And from the monitor itself, I can start recording on the camera. As you can see, it's recording. I can stop it. And then I can also change any of the settings that I need. So if I want to change the white balance, I can do that up there. If I want to change, there we go, change the white balance. Let's make it like super blue, boom, there you go. And then you can also just change all the other settings on here as well. But yeah, this is my A7S III rig, and I feel like this is the perfect size. It's small, it's portable. I can use my monitor, I can use it without the monitor. This battery powers everything, so I don't need any extra plates or anything, and it just makes it so much more convenient. Like I said, I don't do video too much, but when I do, this is the extent of my rig, and I've been shooting some stuff with it, which has been fun. And yeah, I actually really like this. I think it feels really good in the hand. It's really balanced. The monitor, I really like because you can control it. And this is what I have as my rig like 95% of the time. The only time I have a different monitor is when I'm using the Pyro 7 from Hollyland, which I will make another video on itself, which has the ability to have to send the signal directly from the monitor, so you don't need to attach anything like, you don't have to attach anything like this, which is like a transceiver receiver system. So this is one from Axoon that they sent me a while ago, but If I didn't have the other monitor, I would probably add it onto here or maybe down here, just somewhere on there so I could send a feed to whoever needs to be seen. But yeah, with the Pyro 7, it has like antennas built in, which again, I'll make a video on it, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it right now. But yeah, that is the only other monitor that I use. Typically, this is what the full setup looks like, and I absolutely love it. I think this is a really good setup, and if you guys are in the market for getting yourself a little A7S III rig, I think this is a really nice one. I try to use the cheapest parts as possible because I don't care to buy like the most expensive cage or anything, and this gets the job done. So yeah, this is my A7S III rig. If you guys have any questions, leave them down in the comment section below. I'll have all the parts that I use for this build in the description if you guys want to go get this exact build. But I know people are gonna ask like, why don't you just upgrade to an FX3? And the reason is because these do like the exact same thing. Like at the end of the day, an FX3 and an A7S III are essentially the same camera, so there's no real reason for me to go spend, was it like $3,500 to have the exact same camera that I have now. And then the like additional software features that the FX3 has, I don't really care about too much. So at the end of the day, I'm happy with my A7S III, and for the type of productions I do, this is more than enough. And when you rig it out like this, it looks professional enough. So yeah, that is my A7S III rig. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comment section below. And I'm hopefully going to continue to upgrade this thing as I go. But yeah, that was today's video. Thank you guys for watching. I'll see you guys in the next one.